अगर किसी ने कोई सवाल पूछना है
सर सर
जो। हाँ बोलिए जी।
सर जो आपने कल बोला था वो बेसिक फंडामेंटल और थ्योरेटिकल और एक्सपेरिमेंटल या अप्लाइड और एक्शन रिसर्च उसका आपने बेस पूछा था।
हाँ।
हाँ तो सर वो मतलब क्या यूज के आधार पे उसका बेस है क्या?
ने यूज मतलब क्या?
एप्लीकेशन,
एप्लीकेशन माने क्या?
उसकी उपयोगिता जो है।
नहीं वो तो ठीक है, उपयोगिता तो ठीक है, एप्लीकेशन ठीक है। बट हर चीज की एप्लीकेशन होती है ना, अगर उपयोगिता नहीं हो तो आदमी क्यों करेगा? तो
नहीं सर,
केवल
एक्चुअली
तो
एक क्वेश्चन
केवल
आप।
उपयोगिता शब्द जो है।
अच्छा सर, समझ गया। मतलब वो किस लेवल की यूटिलिटी चाहिए, एप्लीकेबिलिटी चाहिए, आप ये जानना चाह रहे
तो उसका क्या होना चाहिए?
हैं? डिग्री ऑफ यूटिलिटी।
बहुत सीरियस मैच है।
हाँ, डिग्री ऑफ यूटिलिटी सही है आपका।
थैंक यू
ये
सर।
ये इस क्वेश्चन का आंसर ये सही है कि ऑन व्हाट बेस थ्योरेटिकल एक्सपेरिमेंटल एंड एक्शन रिसर्च बी डिफरेंशिएटेड। इसका जो आंसर होगा, देखिए जो थ्योरी बनाई जाती है that is developed by a person belonging to a particular country. Do you think that theory is applicable only in the place where that person was staying? जिसने निकाली है और वो जिस जहां पे रहता था, क्या वो थ्योरी वहीं पे यूज होती है क्या?
सर डिपेंड करता है, बहुत सारी थ्योरी जैसी हैं जो पर्टिकुलर उसी एरिया पर ही एप्लीकेबल
नहीं
होंगी।
नहीं नहीं, कोई भी थ्योरी का नाम बता दो मेरे को। बता दो, एक थ्योरी का नाम बता दीजिए।
जैसे सर साइकोलॉजी में कोई एक थ्योरी डेवलप की गई थी, पेरेंटल रिलेशनशिप विद द चाइल्ड। वहां
नो,
बच्चों को
ये
सिखलाने का
नहीं, देर
कंसेप्ट।
वाज नो थ्योरी। टेल मी द थ्योरी इन साइकोलॉजी। साइकोलॉजी में जैसे मान लीजिए, आप जो थॉर्नडाइक है, उसने जो किया इट इज एप्लीकेबल एवरीवेयर।
हाँ जी
स्किनर की
सर बिल्कुल।
थ्योरी है, इट इज एप्लीकेबल एवरीवेयर।
हाँ जी सर बिल्कुल।
हाँ, तो फिर आप क्यों कह रही है कि कोई थ्योरी केवल वहीं पे है? ये थ्योरी
क्योंकि
नहीं
सर
है जो
बहुत
आप
सारे
बता रही है।
साइकोलॉजी में जब वो डेवलप किए जाते हैं किसी थ्योरी के आधार पर, तो
नो।
उनका जब भी कभी हम इंडिया में उनको अगर अप्लाई करते हैं तो उनका पहले रिलायबिलिटी वैलिडिटी वगैरह सब
ओ,
टेस्ट दोबारा
आप गलत कह रही हैं मैडम। आप टूल की बात कह रही हैं, मैं टूल नहीं कह रहा हूं।
सर मैं समझ रही हूँ आपकी बात,
आप
मे बी
नहीं
आई
समझ
रोंग।
रही। अगर आप समझ रही होती मैडम, तो आप टूल की बात नहीं करती, क्योंकि उसमें रिलायबिलिटी वैलिडिटी टूल में होती है,
हाँ जी
थ्योरी
सर
में।
टूल में होती है, हाँ जी।
हाँ, तो
लेकिन मैं
थ्योरी
ये
में।
कहना चाह रही हूँ कि बहुत सारे टूल्स जो हैं वो डेवलप ही किसी थ्योरी के बेस पर किए जा रहे होते हैं।
नो नो मैडम, आपको समझना चाहिए, इंटेलिजेंस के हजारों टेस्ट हैं।
जी सर
और
बिल्कुल है।
और हर टेस्ट जो है एक ही थ्योरी पे आधारित नहीं है।
बिल्कुल भी
वो
नहीं है सर।
थ्योरी वो थ्योरी की एप्लीकेशन है। और जो रेवेंस प्रोग्रेसिव मैट्रिसेस है, पूरे वर्ल्ड में यूज
हाँ
होता
जी
है
हाँ
वो।
जी बिल्कुल सर।
हाँ, तो
लेकिन
देयरफॉर जो
कैटल का जो
थ्योर
टेस्ट है वो इंडिया में अप्लाई अगर हम करते हैं सर, तो उसके लिए हमें उसकी दोबारा रिलायबिलिटी
ना,
वैलिडिटी चेक करनी पड़ती
नहीं
है।
नहीं, आपको जो है रेवेंस प्रोग्रेसिव मैट्रिसेस, ये नॉन वर्बल है, इसका कुछ करने की जरूरत नहीं है आपको, यू कैन यूज इट।
हाँ जी सर, मैं कैटल के टेस्ट की बात कर रही हूँ। कैटल के टेस्ट की तो हम रिलायबिलिटी वैलिडिटी चेक करते
किसकी?
हैं ना।
किसकी?
कैटल कैटल्स इंटेलिजेंस
नहीं,
टेस्ट।
कैटल प्रेफरेंस वाला जो है, वो इट हैज बीन यूज्ड इन इंडिया सिंस लॉन्ग, आज की नहीं है वो। जो ये जिन टूल के आप नाम लेती है, इनके ढेर सारे इंडियन ने यूज किए हैं, रिलायबिलिटी निकाली है, वैलिडिटी निकाली है, सब कुछ किया है। तो जो थ्योरी होती है, वो थ्योरी जो बनाई जाती है, वो जिस जहां पे बनाई जाती है वहीं पे यूज नहीं होती, बल्कि हर जगह यूज होती है। तो जो थ्योरी का यूज होता है वो पूरे वर्ल्ड में होता है। तो इसकी यूटिलिटी पूरे वर्ल्ड की है। और जो एक्सपेरिमेंट है, जैसे मान लीजिए आपका मोबाइल है, is the outcome of experimental research. इस मोबाइल को इस सिम कार्ड से अगर आप जर्मनी जाओ तो ये काम करेगा क्या?
नहीं करेगा सर।
नहीं करेगा। इसका मतलब ये है कि इसमें आपने कोई चेंज करना पड़ेगा, तो इसकी
यस सर।
यूटिलिटी कम होगी। जैसे इंडिया में जो फाइजर है, जो फाइजर कंपनी है, वो दवाइयाँ बनाती है, वो दवाइयाँ क्या यूएसए में यूज हो सकती हैं क्या?
हो सकती है सर, बिल्कुल।
नो, नहीं हो सकती। इस पेंडेमिक में जो आपने वैक्सीन लिया है, ये वैक्सीन कौन सी तरह की रिसर्च की आउटपुट है?
कौन सी तरह की, मतलब मैं समझ नहीं पा रही हूँ, ये
ये
एक्सपेरिमेंट
एक्सपेरी ये जो वैक्सीन निकला, ये एक्सपेरिमेंटल स्टडी से निकला है।
हाँ जी सर,
और
बिल्कुल।
और जो इंडिया का वैक्सीन है वो जर्मनी में यूज नहीं हुआ। जर्मनी वालों ने अपना अलग निकाला, चाइना ने अलग निकाला, रशिया ने अलग निकाला। तो जो एक्सपेरिमेंटल रिसर्च होती है उसकी यूटिलिटी कम हो जाती है, और एक्शन रिसर्च की यूटिलिटी और भी कम है। जहां की प्रॉब्लम होती है उसी के कॉन्टेक्स्ट में उसका सॉल्यूशन निकाला जाता है। तो इसलिए इन तीनों को आप डिफ्रेंशिएट कर सकती हैं ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ डिग्री ऑफ यूटिलिटी।
ओके सर।
डिग्री ऑफ यूटिलिटी और एप्लीकेबिलिटी। तो ये पहले वाला क्वेश्चन का आंसर है। दूसरे क्वेश्चन का आंसर है क्या आपके पास? Any participant like to tell me the answer of the second question?
सर,
हाँ बोलिए।
सिस्टमेटिकली या साइंटिफिकली कोई एक्टिविटी हो रही है, इसका मतलब वो स्टेप वाइज होगी, तभी तो हम बोलेंगे उसको।
नहीं, स्टेप वाइज क्यों होती है?
आ, क्योंकि सभी जो स्टेप्स हैं एक दूसरे से कनेक्टेड होंगे ना सर, वेल कनेक्टेड होंगे।
नहीं। Now, one of the participants want me to explain it in English. Whenever a theory is developed, Newton's laws were developed by Newton. Archimedes' principle was given by Archimedes. The Pythagoras theorem is there. All these are applicable all over the world. There is a Skinner theory. It is applicable all over the world. So whenever you have any theory, the theory will have its utility or its applicability all over the world. Your mobile is the outcome of experimental research. If you take this mobile along with the same SIM card into China, it will not work. You have to either change international roaming or you have to change your SIM card. Then it will work. The medicine which are manufactured in India by Pfizer, you must be knowing that he sent some of his samples to US, and all those samples were rejected by the US people. So there, but the same medicine is being used in India. Another example, that vaccine during pandemic was developed by different countries for their own people. The vaccine which we used in India was not used in China, not used in Russia, not used in USA. And these were the outcome of experimental research. So the utility of theory research is the widest one, and experimental is lesser than that. And the action research is very, very specific. that if I have a fever and I take the medicine, the same medicine cannot be taken by another person who is having a fever, because he might have fever for because of some other reason, I might have fever because of some other reason. So doctor gives the medicine to the patient, keeping his own characteristics in the mind. So therefore, the action research utility is very, very, very limited. So you can differentiate among the theoretical research, experimental research, and action research on the basis of degree of utility or degree of applicability. So I hope my friend from South must have understood it. Any other question, any other participant like to ask? The second question which I asked, will you like to reply this question?
सर मुझे जनरली एक क्वेश्चन पूछना है, मैं सिर्फ सामान्य ज्ञान के आधार पर ये पूछना चाह रही हूँ। अदर
बोलो।
कंट्रीज ने हमारी वैक्सीनेशन वगैरह या हमारी मेडिकेशंस वगैरह जितनी भी थी वो यूज नहीं की। कोरोना वायरस तो सब में सेम था सर, मतलब उसके लिए तो कोई ये तो नहीं था ना कि उनको कोरोना किसी और वजह से हुआ है, हमें कोरोना किसी और वजह से हुआ
इसका
है।
मतलब ये है, इसका मतलब ये है, एक प्रॉब्लम का एक सॉल्यूशन नहीं होता है, बल्कि एक प्रॉब्लम के अनेक सॉल्यूशन होते हैं।
हाँ जी सर बिल्कुल। क्या ये कहीं ना कहीं ऐसा कुछ था कि अदर कंट्रीज जो हैं वो इंडिया की मेडिकेशंस के ऊपर इतना ज्यादा भरोसा नहीं कर रही थी?
नहीं, ऐसा कुछ नहीं है, नथिंग लाइक दैट। क्यों? क्योंकि हर कंट्री ने जो अपनी वैक्सीन निकाली, किसी की वैक्सीन -15 डिग्री पे रखनी थी कि,
हाँ जी
और इंडिया में ना -15 डिग्री नहीं है, बहुत डिफिकल्ट है। तो ये
बिल्कुल सर।
उनकी जो मेडिसिन जो निकाली थी वो हर एक की अलग अलग कैरेक्टरिस्टिक थी, अलग अलग उनके जो उन्होंने इंग्रेडिएंट यूज किए थे, दे वर डिफरेंट। सो देयरफॉर यू कैनॉट से लाइक दैट। But
ओके
some of the country who were not capable of coming out with their own vaccine, they have borrowed the vaccine from other countries.
यस सर यस बिल्कुल।
That's all.
सर थैंक यू, थैंक यू सर।
Okay, okay, okay. Nay, let us not bother about the hypothesis, because I will tell you about it little later. Don't worry about it. Okay, so the second question which I gave you, try to answer the second question if you can.
Sir, I would like to attempt.
Please go ahead.
How will you know whether the activities are carried out systematically or scientifically? So if the activity is objective in nature, then it will be carried out scientifically. If it is subjective in nature, then it will be carried out systematically.
Think again. Think again. Why systematically? What is important in the systematic activities? If you do not do systematically,
Will
what
also be
happens?
present in carrying out subject.
Nay, why do we carry out? Why systematic? What is the, if you do not do systematically, what happens? And if you do systematically, what happens? Think about it.
Performing any activity systematically increases the efficiency, minimizes
No,
the
I
number of
think,
steps.
no, I think the word used by you is not technically correct.
Okay, sir.
There is another word, and I'm sure you can get that word.
I'll think more about it then.
Think.
Yeah.
I can give you the answer, but I am not interested,
I
because it will stop your thinking.
Correct, sir. I
And
agree.
I want you people to think. Okay? Okay, thank you. Now,
Thank you.
then I was telling you about the data collection, and I told you that if you are doing a philosophical research, then you will be collecting the data using the primary source. But if you are doing historical research, then you may use the primary source as well as the secondary source for collecting the data. But if you are doing correlational survey or experimental study or the case study, then you have to go to the field to collect the data. And when you go to the field to collect the data, then there are important points which you should understand. One is from where to collect the data. Then with the help of which tool to collect the data and how to collect the data. So these are the three important aspects. One refers to the sampling, other refers to the test, to the tool or instrument, and the last one is the method of research. Now in sampling, you should know one word which is called universe. Sure, all of you must be knowing what is universe. Whatever exists on this particular planet constitutes universe. So let me write the definition so that you start understanding it. Whatever exists on this planet constitutes universe. So we all are part of the universe. There are mountains, there are rivers, there are oceans, there are human beings, there are lot of plants, there are animals, etc., etc., etc. All these are part and parcel of the universe. Now then another a technical word is population. So population refers to small portion of the population, refers to well-defined small.
सर हिंदी में भी थोड़ा एक्सप्लेन।
अरे यार मैं ये तो कर दूं ना, मैंने कर दिया, हिंदी में भी बताऊंगा, बट अंग्रेजी में लिख दो फिर मैं हिंदी में बता दूं। Population refers to well-defined small portion of the universe. देखिए जो भी इस सृष्टि में अवेलेबल है वो सब कुछ यूनिवर्स का हिस्सा है। चाहे उसमें प्लांट ले लीजिए, एनिमल ले लीजिए, रिवर्स ले लीजिए, ओशन ले लीजिए, माउंटेन्स ले लीजिए, जो भी कुछ आपके ध्यान में आता है, इंडस्ट्री ले लीजिए, जो भी कुछ आता है वो सारे के सारा यूनिवर्स का हिस्सा है। तो जो भी इस प्लेनेट पे अवेलेबल है इज ए पार्ट ऑफ द यूनिवर्स। अब जो पॉपुलेशन होती है वो यूनिवर्स का वेल डिफाइंड स्मॉल पोर्शन होता है। अगर कोई एक पर्टिकुलर प्लांट पे काम करना चाहता है तो वो जो प्लांट है वो वेल डिफाइंड स्मॉल पोर्शन ऑफ द यूनिवर्स है, क्योंकि यूनिवर्स में ढेर सारे प्लांट्स होते हैं, बट आप एक पर्टिकुलर प्लांट पे जब काम कर रहे हैं तो वेल डिफाइंड स्मॉल पोर्शन हो गया। अगर आप ह्यूमन बीइंग्स पे काम करना चाहते हैं और आपने मान लीजिए यूनिवर्सिटी के लोग बाग ले लिए और यूनिवर्सिटी आपने मान लीजिए एमपी की यूनिवर्सिटी ले ली तो एमपी की यूनिवर्सिटीज हो जाएंगी, वो पॉपुलेशन हो जाएगा। तो पॉपुलेशन is a well-defined small portion of the universe. So whatever is the population, if I take the universities of MP, so there are universities all over the world, but when I say universities of MP, then I have defined my population and it is well defined. I can further say I am taking government universities of MP. I have further limited it, further well defined it. So therefore population is always a well defined small portion of the universe. And then another word is a sampling, sample. All of you know about sample also, because whenever you go to the market to purchase sweets, जब आप मार्केट में स्वीट खरीदने जाते हैं तो दैट वेंडर वो आपको टेस्ट कराता है, एंड व्हेन जो वो आपको टेस्ट कराता है तो आपको एक स्मॉल पोर्शन देता है, और उस के आधार पे आप डिसाइड कर लेते हैं आपको कौन सी मिठाई चाहिए। When you go to the market to purchase sweets, many a time the vendor will make you to taste and he will give you a small portion of it. That small portion will tell whether this sweet is okay or not, you can decide. And that small portion is called sample. Now, whenever you go to the market to purchase pulse, दाल जब आप लेने जाते हैं तो कई बार वेंडर कटोरियों में, छोटी छोटी कटोरियों में दाल रखे रहता है और वो बताता है ये वो दाल है, ये है, ये है। फिर आप उसको देखने के बाद में आप डिसाइड कर लेते हैं कि आपको कौन सी दाल लेनी है, तो वो सैंपल है। Now many a times when you go to the market to purchase wheat, there are different containers of the wheat, and they take out the portion from that of the wheat, and they show it to you that this wheat is of this quality and this wheat is of this quality. That is the sample. So sample refers to small representative portion of the population. Now, those people who belong to statistics or mathematics or physics or chemistry or computer science, even economics people also, management people also, they understand that sample is the subset of the population. But population is not the subset of the universe, because universe is heterogeneous. So therefore you know that. Now another is frame. So frame is listing all members of the population is called frame. देखिए, अभी जो ये वेबिनार चल रहा है तो जबलपुर वाले डॉक्टर संजीव ने के पास में आप लोगों की लिस्ट होगी कि कौन कौन इसमें रजिस्टर्ड है और कौन कौन इसको अटेंड कर रहा है। ये लिस्ट जो है ये फ्रेम है। जब आप कहीं पे whenever you go to the hotel to take your food, they give you the menu card. The menu card is the frame of different items which are available in that particular hotel. Now, when you take your stock register in science, in physics lab, chemistry lab, in computer lab, when you have that list is nothing but the frame, because your stock register will tell that these are the items which are there in your lab. So that is what is the frame. Now the room where you are sitting, the four walls are the frame of that particular room. So listing all members of the population is called a frame. Then there is another word which is called sampling. So sampling refers to the procedure of selecting sample from the population. Many a times the definitions are asked in the UGC NET exam. They may coin the question and they may ask you something like that. Now, there are sampling techniques. Can you tell me that sampling techniques belongs to, or how many types of sampling techniques you have come across?
Sir, I have come across only two types of sampling, random sampling and non-random sampling.
Okay, this is statistics. That's fine. Okay, any other one? See,
Sir,
sampling. Ha, go ahead.
sir, it's systematic sampling and random sampling. They are
No, sorry. Now, sampling techniques belong to the two part. One is called probability sampling technique. And another is called non-probability sampling technique. The probability sampling techniques can be further, you can visualize it that your population is widespread and your population is not widespread. These are very important points which I am trying to tell you. And I think, Dr. Kusum, you will relish some of the information which I am giving, because in statistics you may use it. So therefore, you have the widespread population and you have not widespread population. So let us have not widespread population. And in the non-widespread population, again, you can have two important aspects. One, that your population is a homogeneous population, and another is a heterogeneous population. So one is a homogeneous population. So homogeneous population which is not widespread. And if it is a homogeneous population, then which sampling technique do you think will be appropriate? You have already said, Kusum.
Simple random sampling.
Sampling, sir.
That's right. It has to be random sampling. See, every day when we take our tea or coffee, so from which portion of the cup you sip? You can sip from anywhere you like. That is random. Now, when you take the milk and you serve, so from which portion you will take the milk? You can take from anywhere because it is homogeneous. You know, whenever we go to purchase rice or wheat or some pulse, the vendor from the container will just take another container and will give you want 1 kg or 2 kg because the whole container has the same quality of the pulse or same quality of the rice, whatever it is. So homogeneous population, not widespread, then you use what is called random sampling. And another one which is called systematic sampling. But if your population is heterogeneous and not widespread, so let me copy this and then say that if you have the heterogeneous population, so heterogeneous population which is not widespread, then you only have the two. One is called stratified random sampling and another is stratified proportionate. Random sampling technique. Now, these are very important. You should understand. And here, important is that your random sampling is being used in along with other sampling techniques, which you will not find in non-probability sampling technique. Now, another is if your population is widespread, then the following sampling technique will be used. And these are, one is called the quota, one is called cluster sampling, and another is called multi-stage sampling. So this is about if your population is not widespread. But if your population is widespread, then also I have told you which one to use. Now another one, now I am going to tell you is the non-probability sampling technique. Now, can any one of you tell me the difference between non-probability sampling technique and probability sampling technique? Why? These sampling technique, random, systematic, stratified, cluster, they are part and parcel of the probability sampling technique. Why? Any idea? Anyone like to tell?
Sir,
So may I?
Yes, yeah, Dr. Kusum, go ahead. Let us have from statistics and then I'll come to Dr. Neha. Go ahead, Kusum.
Sir, in probability random sampling, each item has equal chances of selection.
No,
Uh,
I'm saying probability sampling technique. I'm not saying random. I'm saying probability sampling technique.
okay, sir, let me
We
think.
have classified under two, probability and non-probability. What is probability?
Sir, in probability sampling, each item has equal chances of selection.
No, you are talking about random. I'm not talking about random.
Sir, please, Neha ma'am ne call.
No, I will tell you, no problem. Yeah, Dr. Neha, go ahead.
So probability sampling ensures that there is a probability of selection of every item.
No, what is the meaning of that? You are again hinting at a random.
Random will have equal chance of getting selected. Probability is just the possibility
Exactly.
of getting selected.
No, what is probability and non-probability? And this is very important. Then you will be able to decide whether in the research the probability sampling technique should be used or non-probability. If we are not clear about what is probability, let us start with the basic. What is probability?
Probability is a chance of selecting a particular unit from the available options.
Okay. Now, if there are, let us say, here we are, say, 96 people on this platform. Okay. Now,
Yes.
what is the chance of selecting Dr. Neha?
That would be 1 out of 96.
1, correct? So, therefore, what does it mean?
That I have
That
that I have
Ha.
only say about 0.97%
No,
chance.
not that. Say, if you do not know the total size of the population, will you be able to calculate the probability?
No, I need to know the total option.
Correct. So that means the frame must be available.
Yes,
And if the frame is not available, then you can't use probability.
correct.
So that means probability sampling technique will be used only when you have a frame.
Okay, sir.
You do not have a frame, then you cannot use it.
Okay.
I don't know to which part of India you belong, Dr. Neha, wherever you are, can you list all the beggars in your city?
I am from New Delhi only.
Oh, New Delhi. Which part
Yeah,
of the New Delhi?
Pashchim Bihar.
Oh, Pachim Bihar. Can you list all the beggars in the Pachim Bihar?
No,
No. But if you want to do the research, then will you use probability or non-probability?
non-probability sampling.
That's right. Is it clear now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So
Yes.
that means in the probability sampling technique, the frame is available. If the frame is not available, then you cannot use the probability sampling technique because you cannot calculate the probability of selecting a person. So those people who have not understood, I can repeat them for them in Hindi and I'll say, see, probability means the probability of selecting Dr. Neha is equal to the number of Neha divided by total number of participants. So since I know that Neha is only one and total number of participants are, let us say, 96, then I can calculate the probability of selecting Dr. Neha. But if I do not know the total number of the participants, then I cannot calculate the probability of selecting that particular person. And when we say total number, that means frame is available. So if you have a frame, you may take more time to develop the frame is a different issue, but frame should be available, then probability. Otherwise, the non-probability. So in non-probability sampling technique, frame is not available. Frame is not available, so the probability cannot be determined. Probability
Good afternoon,
of.
sir. So it means that,
Go ahead.
so, sir, in the sense, population is not to put that probability sampling. So we will use non-probability sampling, correct?
Once again.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Once again. Repeat.
Yeah. So, okay, sir. So in the sense, if we don't know the population, correct, that you have taken example of that South Bihar, right, South Delhi or North Delhi, whatever it is, how many beggars are there, right? So in this case, sir, we don't know how many beggars are there, exact population we don't know. So we cannot put that probability sampling, that we will go for non-probability sampling, correct?
Perfectly
So
correct.
Okay.
So population, you cannot list the member of the population. So frame is not available. So I'm writing non-probability sampling, the frame is not available. So probability of selecting member cannot be computed. So this is the major difference between the probability sampling technique and the non-probability sampling technique. And in non-probability sampling technique, there are different sampling technique. One is called purposive sampling technique. Dear friends, in large number of the thesis uploaded in Shodh Ganga, I found that majority of the researchers have written that sample was selected using purposive sampling technique. They probably are confused between purpose and purposive. Purpose is not purposive. Purposive is very different. If suppose I want to study the personality of the topper of UGC 2024 exam, then there is only one topper. I have to do this research only on him. This is the purposive sampling. Anyway, more I will tell you when I proceed further. So purposive sampling technique, then another is the say you have the quota sampling technique. Then you have judgment sampling technique. Then you have the convenient sampling technique. And then you have snowball sampling technique. Now these are the sampling technique. I will explain if there is a time along with example and all that. Now once you understand these things, then you must understand the sample size. And most of the researchers, they struggle hard to decide what should be the sample size in their research. And there are different ways of deciding the sample size. I have the standard tables. You can use those two standard tables to decide the sample size, or otherwise you can, if know your population size, you can use in Google, there is a determinator which is called sample determinator. You can use and you can find out. Then another thing you must know, that when sample size is less than 30, it is called small sample. And when it is equal to 30 or more than 30, it is called a large sample. The question arises why? If Tiwari ji, you please check your own system. Check your own system. So therefore, we must know why when sample size is less than 30, it is called the small sample, and when it is equal to 30 or more than 30, it is called large sample. These are the statistical definitions of small sample and large sample. And then you must know something about the difference between standard deviation and standard error. So this much you should know about the sampling, which if time permits, I will do, else I will not do it. Any question you want to ask? Because I have not given any information. I am just trying to tell you what all should be taught under these.
Sir, I want to ask a question.
Go ahead.
Sir, I want to know about this ideal sample size because it is also
हाँ,
confusing.
I see.
मुझे समझ
हाँ, go ahead. Go ahead, Neha.
सर मैं कह रही थी कि जैसे आपने कहा 30 ना 30 और ये मुझे समझ नहीं आया एक्चुअली प्लीज अगर आप इसको थोड़ा
नहीं,
सा
एक्चुअली क्या है, statisticians long back when we were not on the planet, okay, they had defined, and there is a solid base to say that why this sample, when it is less than 30, it is called small, and when it is equal to 30 or more than 30, it is called large. Because there are different population distributions. It may be exponential distribution, it may be uniform distribution, it may be chi-square distribution, it may be normal distribution. There are different types, it may be Poisson distribution. There are many types of distribution. Now, when you take the sample from these distribution, then the distribution in the sample differs from the population distribution. And when the sample size becomes 30 or more than 30, then the sample distribution becomes normal. And when it is less than 30, then it is not normal. So this is the reason that why they have said that when n is equal to 30 or more than 30, it is called large sample, because the distribution, sample distribution becomes normal irrespective of the population distribution to which it belongs. Is it okay, Dr. Kusum?
Sir, my subject is public administration, and we study I want to ask a question. Like, suppose if you are studying on Haryana, then my teacher was saying that the sample size should be like, it should represent at least 10% of the population. So
No, no, not 10%. I'll tell you that tables, I will tell you, and there are different methods of computing sample size.
okay, sir, thank you.
I'll tell you, nothing to worry about that, but only the thing time must permit. Okay, so dear friends, as far as the tool is concerned and instrument is concerned, in medical science, in pure science, we use the word instrument. But in social science and humanities, we use the word tool. So therefore, these are something which will help you to collect the information. And that information has to be related to a particular variable which you want to study. So therefore, these tools must have some characteristics. Now, whatever is the characteristic of the tool, the same characteristics will be of the data which you are collecting with the help of that particular tool. I'll give example that if there is a chair and it is dirty chair and we sit on it, then the chair will become clean and the property of the chair now becomes the property of my clothes. So this is how the characteristics of instrument pass on to the characteristic of become the characteristic of the data that we collect. So this is very important that you should understand. So sometime our data people do not rely on because the tool which we have used is not reliable. So we have to be very, very careful, and I will tell you more about it. So we must know the characteristics. We must know the characteristics of tool or instrument. We must know the difference between measurement and assessment. Then we must know that there are two types of the tool. One is called standardized, other is called unstandardized. Standardized and unstandardized. So we must know the difference between them, and there are some tools which can never be standardized. And such tools are, one is what is called the observation schedule, interview schedule, and questionnaire. You can never standardize them because you get the qualitative information, and on the basis of that you cannot estimate the reliability, validity. So therefore they remain unstandardized. One more important point you should know, that sometime we use questionnaire as a general word. My humble submission is, please do not use questionnaire as a general word. You must use questionnaire as a technical word in research. The test is also many times used as a general word. But my suggestion is, in research, do not use test and questionnaires as general words, because they are the technical words and they have lot of difference between them. So we must know that if some tools are to be standardized, then how? If not, then why? All that you should know. Then you should know the procedure of development. Procedure of development and standardization. So, all participants are requested to mute themselves. Because you are at home, some of you might be at home, so please, it disturbs the other people. So we must know that. Then we must know the methods of establishing reliability, validity, and norms. So these are the things which we are supposed to know under tools. Then under methods of research, in fact, the philosophical there is nothing in philosophical. There is some historical method of research we should know, and more should be experimental method. So we must know what constitutes an experiment, the components of experiment. So we must know components of experiment. Then we must know experimental design, principle of experimental design, or then we must know experimental designs, and we must know principle of experimental design. And then we must know types of experimental design. Then we must know about the fact, about the internal validity and external validity. Internal validity and external validity of different experimental design. We should also know that there are different ways or methods of controlling intervening variables. So these are some of the things which we must know under experimental design. Now, once we have done that, then once you have collected the data, then next is what is called the data analysis. I'm just looking to the number which I put here. It is the third. Now, the fourth is the data analysis. Dear friends, you will have two types of data. One is called qualitative data, and another is called quantitative data. Now, if you have qualitative data, then your techniques to analyze qualitative data will be content analysis, another is called meta-analysis, and another is called sort analysis. You can also say, because S means strength, W means weakness, O means opportunity, and T means threat. The NAC people, they do not call SWOT analysis, but NAC people say SWOC. S means strength, W means weakness, means opportunity, and C means challenge. So they do not use the word threat. Threat is more negative and challenge is mild negative. So you can do this analysis. And there are now different softwares available which you can use in order to analyze your qualitative data. Now, then, if it is a quantitative data, then you must know the scales of measurement. That is the one thing that you should know. Then you should know that when you have the quantitative data, there are two things which you can do. Either you can compare or you can study the relationship. There cannot be any other method for analyzing the quantitative data. Either you compare or you study the relationship. So therefore, these the quantitative techniques will be, you can understand them, that one is called that comparison, and another is studying the relationship. And whenever you compare, you always compare on the basis of what? Can any one of you tell me? अगर आप दो समूह की तुलना कर रहे हैं और आपके पास में सांख्यिकीय कुछ डेटा है, क्वांटिटेटिव डेटा है, तो किस आधार पे आप करेंगे उसका कंपैरिजन, उसकी तुलना?
On basis of some characteristic?
Sorry, that is qualitative. I'm asking quantitative.
Okay.
Yes, any other participant like to tell me?
Sir,
हाँ बोलिए. हाँ बोलो आशा.
sir, two communities comparison of similarity.
नहीं बेटा. नहीं, आपके पास में अगर क्वांटिटेटिव डेटा है तो आप सेंट्रल टेंडेंसी होती है.
जी जी.
और ये सेंट्रल टेंडेंसी आपने पढ़ी होगी. एक होता मीन और एक होता है
मीन, मीडियन, मोड।
मीडियन और एक होता मोड। तो हम कंपैरिजन किसके आधार पे करते हैं?
मीन सर।
और क्यों करते
मीन
हैं? हाँ,
मीन,
मीन
मीन।
मीन मीन
क्यों करते हैं मीना, डॉक्टर मीना?
नो सर, मेनका। मेनका सर।
नहीं,
सर,
मैं तो आई एम नॉट, नहीं आपका नाम नहीं नजर आ रहा है, सो आई डोंट नो हु इज टॉकिंग। मैंने समझा डॉक्टर मी।
sir, myself, Dr. Manaka Shikdar.
ओ, मैंने कहा, ओ यस यस, सॉरी सॉरी। हाँ,
I
तो
am an assistant professor in statistics, Arya Vidyapit
हाँ,
College, Assam.
वेरी
So,
गुड, सो टेल मी।
sir, we are usually the testing the hypothesis based on mean, sir. In some
वाई
cases,
वाई
because
वाई
mean is the best measure of central tendency,
वाई?
because it is based on all the observations.
That's right. That is the only answer. That whenever you compare, you always compare on the basis of mean, because when you compute mean, then you are using entire collected data. But when you use mode, you are not using entire collected data. When can we use mode in day-to-day life?
When we wanted to compare the maximum number of, for example,
When?
sir, shoes,
Go ahead.
when we are interested to know the maximum number of people using the which type of shoes, size of the shoes, size of the garments, in that case we are usually using the mode of the distribution, because we are wanted the maximum number of person belongs to which category.
Correct. When you invite someone for lunch, how do you decide which dish to be made?
Yes, sir. So maximum number of people, which dish they like, we will make that type of dish.
Correct. So when you invite the people, then you know they are liking, and therefore you can decide which one. So we are using mode in our day-to-day life.
Yes, sir.
And when do we use median?
Sir, when we are interested to study the intelligence, say three people are grading some things, the A, B, C, D, or some marks, 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever, then we use the median, middle number for ranking the intelligence.
No. Tell me the example from daily life where median is used.
Uh,
You see my eyes, the black spot. Where is it?
in the mid, I am not.
So it is median. Where is my nose?
It is median.
When you put the bindi, where do you put?
In the middle of our forehead.
And if you take a saw and cut me from here, you will have two equal parts. It's median. When you have the bicycle, where is the axle? Is in the middle.
Yes, sir.
Yes. So from day-to-day life, you can take thousands of examples to illustrate the median. So when you calculate median or mode, you are not using entire collected data. Say, if I say like this, that if I have 4, 10, 5, and 12. Now, if I want to find out mode, there is no mode, because each number appears equal number of time. इसके अंदर कोई भी मोड नहीं है। बहुलक कहते हैं, मोड माने बहुलक। बहुलक माने जो सबसे ज्यादा बार आए। यहाँ पे हर नंबर इक्वल नंबर है, 4 भी एक बार, 10 भी एक बार, 5 भी एक बार, तो यहाँ पे मोड 0 है। लेकिन बाई चांस अगर एक नंबर हो जाए 10, अब यहाँ पे मोड 10 हो जाएगा, क्योंकि 10 2 बार आया है। और जब आपने मोड को कंपेयर कैलकुलेट किया तो आपने 4 का यूज नहीं किया, 5 का नहीं किया और 12 का भी नहीं किया। तो पूरे डेटा को आपने यूज नहीं किया। अगर ये इसका मीडियन निकालते हैं तो इसको एक आइदर असेंडिंग ऑर्डर या डिसेंडिंग ऑर्डर में आप इसको अरेंज कर दीजिए, और फिर जो बीच वाला है वो ले लीजिए। ये बीच है, सेंटर है, तो दिस बिकम्स योर मीडियन। So when you calculate median or mode, you are not using the entire collected data. But when you calculate mean, then we say mean is equal to mean, or you can also say average, will be equal to 4 plus 10 plus 5 plus 12, and then you have to divide by 5. No, 6, sorry, 6. So in calculation of the mean, entire collected data are used. Of course, when we are calculating mean, we are excluding the outliers. Outliers are those numbers, either they are too high or too low, and they will not be large in number. So we always compare on the basis of the mean. So there are different techniques available. One is called t-test. Can anyone tell me another name of a t-test? Statistics.
Sir, sir, there are one is one sample t-test, another two sample t-test, and another is pair t-test for testing the means.
No, there is nothing like two samples t-test. It's not the technical name. What is the technical name? Another is independent samples t-test.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And there is one more name, students t-test. And another is paired samples t-test. Can you tell me another name of the paired samples t-test?
chi-square test?
No, sorry. No chi-square. Another is correlated t-test. Then you have one-way ANOVA. Then you have the two-way ANOVA. And then you have the three-way ANOVA. Then you have one-way ANCOVA. You have the two-way ANCOVA. And then you have the three-way ANCOVA. Then you have trend analysis. Like this. Now, in the relationship, there are two technical words I told you yesterday: correlation, and another is association. So we have different statistical technique. One, say, chi-square test. And chi-square test is in order to study the association, not correlation. So chi-square test, you have product movement correlation, you have biserial correlation, you have point biserial correlation, you have phi correlation, you have contingency coefficient, then you have Mann-Whitney U test, and you have sign test, you have median test, then you have partial correlation, you have multiple correlation, you have regression analysis, you have canonical correlation, you have factor analysis, you have discriminant analysis, so like this. There are so many statistical techniques which are available, and they are classified only under two. In one, you can compare, another, you cannot compare, you only have to study the relationship. And dear friend, it is the wording of your objective which will guide you whether you should use your statistical technique belonging to the comparison or belonging to the relationship. I will take example and try to give you the reason why this is used and why not this. Now, once you have done the data analysis, then next is, my dear friend, the last is your conclusion. Or you can say your finding. So these are the steps in nutshell. So I have given you the steps. Now, can I start with the first step now? That give you the detail of the first step, or you want to ask me something else? Quickly. Should I start with the first step?
Yes, sir. Please.
Okay. तो मैं पहले स्टेप से स्टार्ट हो रहा हूं. And the first step was आइडेंटिफिकेशन ऑफ प्रॉब्लम। और इसमें मैंने आपको बताया था कि आपको सबसे पहले वेरिएबल सिलेक्ट करना है ना। वेरिएबल को हिंदी में हम चर कहते हैं।
जी जी।
तो वेरिएबल refers to changeable characters. The characteristics which can change will be called a variable. Example, say your weight. जब आप 5 साल के थे, 1 साल के थे, 10 के थे, 15 के, तो आपने देखा होगा आपका वेट चेंज हुआ है। सो वेट इज ए वेरिएबल। आपका वेट दूसरे लोगों का वेट एक नहीं है, इट्स ए वेरिएबल। हाइट, आपकी हाइट मेरी हाइट अलग अलग है। आप जब 1 साल के थे आपकी हाइट अलग थी, जब 5 के थे तो अलग थी। सो हाइट चेंजेस। से temperature changes during summer. The temperature goes to up to 50 degree these days now, 49, 48. And in winter it goes to -15, -5, and something like 2 and 3 on all that. So it's a variable, it changes. Achievement in any subject, achievement in Hindi, then different students might have got different marks. So it is that reasoning. Each one of us do not have the same reasoning ability. It is different. Your stress, anxiety, subjects, caste, gender, medium of instruction, types of car, vegetables, fruits, job satisfaction, vocabulary, concentration, blood count, hemoglobin. Should I give some more or is it all right?
Sir, I think it is all.
Methods of teaching. Working days. Working hours. और बताऊं या sufficient है?
सर मेरे ख्याल से तो sufficient है. Thank you.
Okay. Now, so there are so many variables. There cannot be a subject where there is no variable. It is not possible to have that scenario that you have a subject and there is no variable. So therefore, everywhere you will find the variable. Now there is another one which is called constant. Constant refers to unchangeable characteristics. If you see example, number of days in a week, you ask anyone, will you get the same reply or will you get a different reply? अगर ये पूछें कि एक सप्ताह में कितने दिन होते हैं तो हर आदमी एक ही जवाब देगा या अलग अलग देंगे?
सर एक
ही जवाब मिलेगा, एक ही जवाब है।
तो ये फिर कांस्टेंट हुआ। वैल्यू ऑफ पाई किसी से भी पूछिए तो बताएगा 22/7। आप पूछिए टोटल आवर्स इन डे एंड नाइट, हर आदमी आपको सेम ही आंसर देगा कि 24 आवर्स, कोई भी 25 नहीं कहेगा। सम ऑफ 3 एंगल्स ऑफ ए ट्राइंगल, everybody will say it is 180 degree. अगर पूछें the total minutes in 1 second, oh, total seconds in 1 minute, in 1 minute, everyone will give you the same answer. And there are in science large number of constants are there, they do not change. अब a variable may be held constant, but a constant cannot be made variable. एक चर को आप अचर बना सकते हैं, बट अचर को कभी भी आप चर नहीं बना सकते। तो मैं आपको यहां रोक रहा हूं और आप जो हैं 15 मिनट का ब्रेक ले लीजिए और उसके बाद देन वी कम बैक एंड आई विल स्टार्ट फ्रॉम हियर. So you
Sure, sir.
can have a break of 15 minutes. So we will meet at 3:46. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. क्या हो गया? चाय पानी का क्या हुआ?
Okay, dear participants, let us continue.
जी सर जी सर.
Before the break, I told you that a variable may be held constant. एक चर को अचर बनाया जा सकता है, लेकिन अचर को चर नहीं बनाया जा सकता. जैसे फॉर एग्जाम्पल, अगर मैं कहूं टाइप्स ऑफ यूनिवर्सिटीज, and types of university is a variable because there are government university, there are state university, there are private university, etc., deemed to be universities. Now, if I say the central universities, the moment I say central university, that means types of universities have been held constant. Because I'm not taking deemed to be university, I'm not taking state university, I'm not taking private universities. I'm only taking the central universities. If I have medium of instruction, so medium of instruction can be Hindi, can be English, can be Malayalam, can be Gujarati, can be Urdu, can be Marathi, etc., etc. But if I say Hindi medium of instruction, the moment I say Hindi medium of instruction, then medium of instruction is held constant. तो यहाँ पे types of universities is held constant. और यहाँ पे medium of instruction is held constant. So any time you can make any variable a constant in your research, but the basic nature cannot be changed. The basic nature will remain the variable, but under some circumstances you can held is constant. So we use technical word is held constant, but it is not made constant. Now, any question you want to ask here, then I proceed further. Now I'm going to the, can you tell me the types of variable? Can you name the types of variable?
So may I?
Yes, go ahead.
So we have categorical variable, we have nominal or categorical variable.
No,
Ordinal,
Neha,
that is the scale.
Dr.
That's the
Neha,
scale.
that is the scale
That
of.
I got it while saying that's the scale of measurement. Yeah.
Correct.
Got it.
So
Got it.
types of variable are what?
Sir, dependent variable and independent.
All right. Any other?
So discrete and continuous.
Okay. Any other? No, my dear friend, those people who are saying dependent and independent, that is wrong. Because dependent and independent will be only and only in experimental research. In philosophical research, in historical research, in survey research, you cannot have dependent and independent. So that is wrong. So the types of variable everywhere, they are called continuous variable. And another is a discontinuous variable. or discrete variable? सतत और असतत, ये दो ही प्रकार के चर होते हैं और ये हर रिसर्च में पाए जाते हैं. Only in mathematics, in statistics, in computer science, in physics, you have one more variable which is called complex variable. Otherwise, everywhere you have the continuous variable and discontinuous variable. Whenever you have to decide the data analysis technique, then you must know which variable is continuous and which variable is discrete. If you do not know that, you will fail to decide the statistical technique. So these are the two types of the variable which are everywhere, but in many of the books, heading is types of variable, and they have written dependent and independent, and some of the teachers also might have taught the same thing, which is technically incorrect. So please update your understanding. So continuous variables are those which can be expressed both in whole number as well as fraction. Let us have example. Your weight. The weight can be 50 kg, weight can be 50.5 kg, it may be 10 kg, it may be 10.5. You may have half a kg sugar or you may have 2 kg sugar, it doesn't matter. Height. Somebody height might be 4 feet, somebody height might be 4 feet, 2 inches. Say, power of lens. The somebody's lens power might be 2 or it might be 1.1 or it might be 0.6 or something like this. Achievement. Somebody might have got 10 out of 10, somebody might have got 8.5 out of 10. Reasoning. Study habits. Job satisfaction. Cost. Job satisfaction. Cost of vegetable. Then you have adjustment, reaction towards online teaching. Head circumference, temperature. So there are many variables which you can head circumference, temperature. Hemoglobin. Do you need some more example or these are enough? Enough or you want more examples?
Sir, according to me, it is enough.
Dr. Amol Kumar, do you want more examples or enough?
Sir, it is good enough. Thank you,
Okay.
sir.
Okay. So now we go to the discontinuous variables are those which can be expressed only in whole number. For example, types of universities, number of books in libraries, number of pages in books, number of lines per page. Number of words per line. Say working days. Somewhere working days might be 5, somewhere might be 4, somewhere might be 7, and somewhere might be anything. Medium of instruction. Vocabulary. Somebody might be knowing 1,000 words, some might be knowing 1 lakh word. It all depends upon that. So it's that. Then marital status, caste, subjects, or if you want, you can write discipline. Types of car. Okay. Types of vegetables. Types of chairs. Should I give some more or it's okay?
It's okay, sir.
So there are many discontinuous variable. Now another is a continuous variable. Maybe change to discontinuous, but a discontinuous variable cannot be changed to continuous. Example. If you say the pass and fail, say if you say the The continuous variable is, say, age. And if you say young and the adult and you say old, so young, so age is a continuous variable. You can convert or categorize as young, adult, and old. Achievement. Achievement in Hindi is a continuous variable. You can say pass and fail. This can be one way to convert it into the discontinuous, or another, the first division, second division, third division, and fail. This can be, so a continuous variable, you can convert it into the discontinuous, absolutely no problem. But a discontinuous variable can never be made continuous. Do you need some more examples of this, or should I go to the next?
Yes, some more examples of this.
Okay. Say, we say, suppose the income. Income is a continuous variable. You can say low, medium, and high. You say weight. Weight is a continuous. You can say low weight. You can say medium, or you can say high. Temperature. Temperature is a continuous one. You can say normal, you can say high, or you can say low. When you feel weak, your temperature is low. Say blood pressure. Your blood pressure can be high, can be average, it can be low. Do you want more examples, or should I? It's okay. Stress, it can be high, it can be average, and it may be low. Do you want more examples, or enough?
Enough, sir.
Enough, sir.
Now, only in experimental research, variables are is called the independent variable. It is also called the treatment. Whenever we are not well and we go to the doctor, doctor gives us medicine, so it's a treatment. So it is the independent variable. Then you have a dependent variable. Now, I'll give you an example. Suppose quality of food and your health. Now, do you find the relationship between them? Which one is dependent and which one is independent?
Health is dependent and quality of food is independent.
Okay, so it is independent and it is dependent. Now, monthly income and the quality of food. Now, which one do you think?
Quality of food is dependent on monthly income.
And monthly?
And monthly income is independent variable.
Correct. So it is independent and it is dependent. Now, in the first example, quality of food is independent, but in second example, quality food is dependent. What the meaning? The meaning is no variable forever is dependent or independent. It is a situation that will help you to decide whether the variable is dependent or independent. Say, when we were small and going to the school and our parents were earning, then we were independent or dependent?
Dependent.
And our parents were?
Independent.
Now, when the parents retired, became old, and we started earning, then what happened?
They are dependent.
So, therefore, there is nothing like dependent and independent. कभी भी पूरी जिंदगी कोई आश्रित और स्वतंत्र नहीं होता है, ये तो परिस्थिति बताएगी कि उस परिस्थिति में वो चर आश्रित है या वो चर स्वतंत्र है. This is very important. And this can be only and only in experimental study. It's never in survey study, it's never in historical research, never in philosophical, never in qualitative research. Now, if I take of teaching and your understanding. So do you think your understanding is which type of variable?
Dependent.
And methods of teaching? Methods of teaching, which type of variable?
Independent.
By changing methods of teaching, you can bring change in understanding of the people. So methods of teaching becomes a independent variable and understanding becomes a dependent variable. But do you think your understanding entirely depends on methods of teaching?
No, sir.
Then it depends upon what?
It depends on content also.
Okay.
Prior knowledge.
Okay. Your concentration, your interest.
Yes, sir.
Your anxiety, your stress, your health. Yes
sir.
or no?
Yes, sir. All
So,
psychological factors also.
so it depends upon your previous knowledge. It depends on your concentration. It depends on your interest. It depends on your anxiety. It depends on your adjustment. It depends upon your listening comprehension. So, therefore, the changes in the understanding will be due to methods of teaching, but it can also be because of previous knowledge, concentration, interest, anxiety, adjustment, etc., etc. So such variables are called intervening variables. So in experimental research, you will always have intervening variables. इसको हिंदी में अवरोधक चर कहते हैं। अवरोधक चर प्रक्रिया के अंदर भी होते हैं और प्रक्रिया के बाहर भी होते हैं। जैसे आप जहां पे आप बैठे ये इस वेबिनार को अटेंड कर रहे हो, अगर आपके इर्द गिर्द बच्चे खेल रहे हैं तो उससे जो शोर होएगा तो क्वाइट पॉसिबल कि आपको कई बार मेरे कुछ सेंटेंसेस नहीं समझ में आएंगे, क्योंकि पूरी तरह से आपने सुने नहीं हैं और वो बच्चों की आवाज, खेल की आवाज की वजह से हुआ। अगर आपका मकान ऐसी जगह या इर्द गिर्द काफी ट्रैफिक है तो ट्रैफिक के आवाज की वजह से भी हो सकता है कभी कभी आप ना सुनो। जैसे एक पार्टिसिपेंट ने बीच में मेरे को मैसेज दिया था कि मेरे को सुन नहीं रहा है, तो दैट वाज नॉट द फॉल्ट फ्रॉम माय साइड, दैट वाज फॉल्ट फ्रॉम हिज साइड ओनली। सो दीज कैन बी द इंटरवीनिंग वेरिएबल। अगर आप बैठे हो एंड यू आर टायर्ड, because of the tiredness you may not be able to concentrate and may not be able to really understand what I am saying. So intervening variables are those which are in the process and or outside the process. But bring change in the dependent variable in the presence of independent variable. Intervening variable will always be in experimental study, but intervening variables can also be in survey study. In survey research also there may be some intervening variables, and we have the methods of controlling those intervening variables by using partial correlation technique. So therefore, your intervening variables are of two types. One is called intrinsic, which is in the process. जो प्रक्रिया के अंदर है उसको इंट्रिंसिक कहते हैं, और जो प्रक्रिया के बाहर है उसको एक्सट्रिंसिक कहते हैं, आंतरिक एवं बाह्य। तो intrinsic intervening variables and another is extrinsic intervening variables. Extrinsic intervening variables are also called confounding variables. So this is the another type of the variable, and one more is called concomitant variables. क्या आप सब लोगों की हाइट एक जैसी है?
नहीं सर।
नहीं सर।
तो ये वेरी करती है। डू यू अंडरस्टैंड अकॉर्डिंग टू योर हाइट?
नो सर।
कि जिसकी ज्यादा हाइट है उसको ज्यादा समझ में आ रहा है और जिसकी कम हाइट है उसे कम समझ में आ रहा है?
नो 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 सर।
नहीं। तो बट हाइट इज ए वेरिएबल, it is in the process, but it does not bring change in the dependent variable in the presence of independent variable. It is called concomitant variables. क्या आप सबने सेम टेक्सचर के कपड़े पहने हुए हैं क्या?
नहीं सर नहीं।
तो आपको क्या आपके जो कपड़े पहने हुए हैं उसके अकॉर्डिंग आपको ज्यादा समझ में आ रहा है या कम समझ में आ रहा है?
नहीं नहीं नहीं।
तो ये भी कंकॉमिटेंट वेरिएबल है, ये प्रोसेस के अंदर है, और लेकिन ये आश्रित चर में स्वतंत्र चर की उपस्थिति में कोई बदलाव नहीं लाता है। सो कंकॉमिटेंट वेरिएबल्स आर दोज which are in the process but do not bring change in the dependent variable in the presence of independent variable. So please understand, if you are doing the experimental research, you must use the word independent variable, dependent variable, intervening variable. But if you are not doing experimental study, then you should never use the word dependent and independent. Your independent variable is discontinuous variable. In the experimental, whenever you do any treatment you give, it is always a discontinuous variable. Here, your methods of teaching is a discontinuous variable. But your dependent variable is always continuous variable. So this is the relationship between independent variable and dependent variable on one hand, and continuous and discontinuous variable in another hand. Now your intervening variable can be continuous variable as well as discontinuous variable. As well as discontinuous variable. So that's what you should know. And your concomitant variable can also be continuous as well as discontinuous variable. Now at present, height is a concomitant variable, but in basketball, the height will become which type of variable? In basketball? Intervening variable. बिल्कुल ठीक है. So one variable in one situation might be concomitant, and the same variable in another situation might be intervening. So therefore you can never say that such variable or such type of variable are always in this particular type of research. No. So I hope you have understood that the types of variable. Any question you want to ask related to types of variable?
Sir, I have a doubt.
Please go ahead.
Yeah, when a discrete or a continuous variable can be a discrete, but a discrete cannot be a continuous.
Correct.
Although you gave examples, but can you explain more on this topic?
Yes. See, gender. How many categories? 3.
Male,
Male,
yes, three.
female,
Female
and
and
transgender.
transgender, right?
Do you have anything between male and female? Do you have anything between transgender and female? There is nothing.
Right.
Now, if you have methods of teaching lecture method, discussion method, seminar. Do you have anything between lecture method and discussion method?
No, sir.
That's all. So it's a discontinuous way. If you say urban, semi-urban and rural, do you have anything between urban and semi-urban? Do
No,
you
sir.
have anything between semi-urban and rural? That's all.
No,
So these are discrete. Do you want more example? I can give more example, no problem.
sir, it is clear to me. I've understood what is discrete and what is continuous, but you said one thing that a continuous cannot be discrete and it
That is
can.
what I said. That
Yes.
is what I am saying.
When we are converting a continuous into discrete further, when we
My
are
dear no, my dear lady, achievement is a continuous variable or discrete variable?
achievement.
Achievement score which you get in the subject, is it continuous or discontinuous?
Sir, it is continuous.
Or
Continuous,
let
sir.
us say your height. Is height a continuous or discontinuous?
Continuous.
Continuous.
Correct. Now, can you say he has a height more than the normal, less than the normal, and normal? Yes or no?
Yes, sir, we do say.
That's all. So you are converting a continuous into discontinuous, but can you convert a discontinuous into continuous? Say your discontinuous is gender. Can you make it a continuous?
Mm.
Is it okay or still you are?
No, sir,
If you have
I got
no,
it.
if you have confusion, no problem. You can still stick to your thinking. Nothing to worry about it.
I got it, sir.
So
Thank you so
you
much.
have to take two variable, one is continuous, other is discontinuous, and then see whether your continuous can be made discontinuous and whether your discontinuous can be made continuous. Then you will understand it.
Okay, sir.
Caste is a continuous variable or discontinuous?
Sir, it is
Discontinuous, sir.
It is. Can you make it continuous?
No, sir.
No. But socioeconomic status?
Socioeconomic continuous, sir.
Continuous.
Can you make it a discontinuous?
Yes, sir. We can divide into categories of
That's all.
upper
That's all.
class, lower. Yes.
That's all.
Yes, sir.
Is it clear or you want some more example?
No, sir. It got clear. Thank you so much.
All right. Welcome. Okay. Dear friends, just now I told you that there will be variables where you will have the quantitative data and there will be variable where you have a qualitative data. Now, if you have a quantitative data, then there are two questions or three questions I want to ask. The question number 3, because the question number 2 I have already asked you. Now, question number 3 is for a variable.
Good evening, sir. Sir.
For
नहीं
a
सर.
variable, what should
हाँ
be
सर,
the?
हाँ सर, वो मैं कर दूंगा सर. आज इवनिंग में कर दूं या कल मॉर्निंग में करूं सर? कल मॉर्निंग में कर लेता हूँ. जी सर, जी सर.
For a variable, what should be the minimum value of SD? SD means standard deviation. Give reason. Question number 4. Can SD value be negative? Give reason. And question number 5 is that can SD value be greater than mean? If yes, why? If no, why? Anyone like to answer right now, or otherwise you can take time and can answer tomorrow? No problem. Any one of you like to answer, or I proceed further?
Sir, I can answer the first question.
Go ahead.
The minimum value of standard deviation is 0, because for a constant series, if for example the values of the series may be 5 5 5 5, then the standard deviation will be 0. That is the minimum value of the.
No, please read the question. You are not reading the question properly. Question is for a variable. What should be the minimum value of standard deviation? And this is the wrong answer large number of the people in India have given. Think about it. If it is so simple, I would not have asked. Do you people know addition, subtraction, multiplication also?
Standard deviation cannot be negative. So
Why?
because when we square root of a real number is never negative.
My dear lady, when you take the square root of any real number, it will be plus and minus. X square is equal to 9, then x is equal to plus minus 3. So there will be negative also. What you said was, under the square root, you cannot have negative, otherwise it will become an imaginary number. So think about it. Should I ask one question of addition? Can I ask one question?
Sir, hello.
Right.
सर स्टैंडर्ड डेविएशन तो एक फिजिकल क्वांटिटी है जो स्केलर प्रॉपर्टी की है, तो वो तो
नहीं भैया, आप एक बात समझ लीजिए, जब भी आपका डेटा हायर स्केल पे होगा तो वो नॉर्मल तो वो नॉमिनल पे तो आ ही जाएगा. तो आप सोच लीजिए आप क्या आंसर दे रहे हैं. Another question is, if I ask you add 5 pens and 4 pencils, anyone like to answer? Okay, you can keep on thinking and I proceed further. Now, I have told you what is a variable, what are the types of variable. Now, I am going to tell you the sources of problem. Can any one of you tell me what are the sources of problem?
Sir, it may be published paper, yeah, journals, yeah, it may be dissertations, newspapers.
Okay. What you call them?
Sir, ये literatures.
Correct. Please see, there is a literature. Literature does not mean Hindi, English, Malayalam, Sanskrit, Gujarati, Marathi. No. Literature means journal. Literature means e-journal. Literature means Shodh Ganga. Literature means thesis. Literature means dissertation, abstract, international. So, all these are your literature. Anyone from education by chance? Anyone from education discipline? No one. It's okay. So these are called literature. Then this literature has to be related to a particular area of your interest. So it is to be reviewed. Review of related literature. In many of the theses, I have found that people write second chapter and some of them they have title as review of literature, which is technically incorrect. Because once you say review of literature means you are reviewing all the researches related to that particular discipline, which is not possible. So therefore, it must be related. Many theses, they have a second chapter and the name is Review of Related Literature. Now, in many of the books, they have given Review of Related Literature as a second step, which is technically incorrect. Why? Because Review of Related Literature will help you in step number 1. It will also help you in formulation of hypothesis. It will also help you in your data collection. There also I will tell you how it will help. So therefore, review of related literature cannot be an independent step. So it is a part and parcel of step number 1 that you should understand. Now, when you review the related literature, then you will come across two things. Number 1, you may come across that no research has been conducted. Say, for example, if you are interested in conducting research around artificial intelligence, that if you are interested in using artificial intelligence in teaching, in Kerala, there are some organizations, they are using artificial intelligence for teaching purpose. In Bangalore, there is one institute, they have the artificial intelligence teacher, one teacher for class 7th, another AI teacher for class 8th, another AI teacher for class 9th. And the AI teacher teaches all the subjects, but the subject teacher goes to the class once a week. Only once in a week, the teacher concerned of the subject will go to the class and will take the feedback from the students whether students have any problem in understanding anything. But so far, research has not been conducted. So therefore, if you are interested, then you can take up your problem or your variable related to this particular aspect where no research has been conducted. So the review of related literature will help you to find out this thing. So you will come across the gap. And once it is a gap, then more that researches can be conducted. Another can be that you may find that researches have been conducted, and if researches have been conducted, there may be a few research have been conducted. A few research have been conducted. If a few researches have been conducted, do you think there is a need to conduct more research or there is no need?
Of course, sir, there is need to conduct more researches.
Very good. Why?
Sir, to add new knowledge.
Not only this, because in researches, we try to reach the stage of generalization. And a few researches might not be able to cover all aspects of that particular variable which you try to have. So more researches can be conducted. Now, there may be another situation where large number of researches have been conducted and if so, then there are two situations. Situation number one, there is consistency in finding. Let us say, I am just assuming, suppose there are 1 lakh researches. So there will be how many findings? 1 lakh. And if there are 1 lakh finding, it is quite possible that there is a consistency in finding. If there is a consistency in finding, do you think there is a need to conduct same type of research again?
No, sir.
So you can generalize or you can theorize. Newton did. You know, when Newton saw the apple coming down and it stuck to his mind that why the apple did not go up. Now he did not see apple coming down for the first time. But at that point of time, it stuck to his mind. If that would not have been the case, then he would not have been the person who would have given the laws of motion. So, so therefore, many a times, lot of ideas come to your mind, but you do not catch them and you do not develop them. If you catch them and develop them, you can have as many patents as you like. Many of the Indians are having many patents, so you can have. So therefore, if such situation is there, no need of conducting more researches. But if suppose there's a inconsistency, if there is inconsistency in findings, if there is an inconsistency in finding, then do you think more researches are required or not?
Yes, sir. More researches are required in this case.
So more researches are required. So when you review the related literature, either you will come across the gap, and if you come across the gap, then you need not to proceed further. If you do not, then you proceed further, and if you find that a few researches have been conducted, then you can take up the problem for research and you need not to proceed further. If you do not get, then you have to proceed further and try to find out whether there is an inconsistency in findings or not. So this is the one source of the problem which everyone uses. There is another source, and that is there is something called theory. Why theory is developed, or why we develop theories? If we do not develop theories, what happens?
Sir, theory is sir, theory is like an absolute generalization of something.
No, that's okay, but why do we have that?
In my opinion, sir, theory helps to understand about the phenomena universally.
No, that's okay, but why?
Sir, to test the phenomena, whether it can be
No, my
tested
dear,
for future researches.
no, my dear friend, when there is a theory, you try to use that theory in your life to make it more comfortable. Any theory which is developed, if you cannot use it, say there are theories of learning, there are theories of motivation, and these days what are the different things are coming up. I never saw anywhere in India, of course, some time back, where you go to a mall and you have a pack of 4 soap, where you pay for the 3 soap and 1 soap is free. Now, what is this? That I need only 1 soap, but because I am getting 1 soap free, so I will bring 4 soap at home. This is what? This is from psychology. Now, when you want the child, if he has given, if you remember that when you gave a answer and your teacher might have said good, or you might have written a homework, done a homework, and on that your teacher might have written for the first time good. And when you saw it, you can now imagine what was happening on that particular day at that particular time. And you might have thought that as soon as you saw that you have got good, your concentration from the class has gone out, and you might be thinking that you should go home as fast as you can and show it to your mom that, see, I have got good. You can't understand when you are saying these things to student what effect it will have on the student. You can motivate the most demotivated student. If you want, you can develop interest in your subject if you are interested. So all these things can be done, and there are theories. Now, there might be some theories which are unutilized theories. I'll tell you, there were two people, one name was Bruce Joyce and another was Marsha Well. By chance, for your information, both of them were husband and wife. What they found was that there were many theories available in the literature, and those theories could have been used by the teacher during teaching to make their teaching effective. But what they observed was those theories were never used by the teacher. They started thinking, discussing, and they came to some of the points like this, that the teacher may not be knowing the theory, another maybe teacher may not be knowing how to use that particular theory in the class. So what these two people did was, they took the theory, they simplified it, and then on the basis of that, they gave certain steps. For example, lot of students do not understand concept. Whenever the student has failed in the exam, and if parents go to the teacher and ask the reason, sometimes teacher says that concept of your child not very strong, or he is weak in concept. Now teacher has said this and is over, but the parents do not understand what is the meaning of concept. Whether the teacher knows how to teach the concept, whether teacher can find out the concept or not. So there is a theory of concept. There is a theory of concept, and it was given by Brunner. So Bruce Joyce and Marsha Well, they took the theory, they understood the theory, and on the basis of theory, they gave some steps, and they developed what they call it a concept attainment model. It is called CAM. So this concept attainment model they developed, which is based on theory, the theory of concept, and this theory was unutilized. And they came out with whole a new area, they call it a models of teaching. Each model is based on a theory. So if you come across unutilized or underutilized theory, then you can definitely think of conducting a research related to that theory, and you may coin your problem. The source can be, seminar or conference. Why seminar or conferences are held? In seminar and conferences, you might have attended many, but I will not talk about the quality of seminar and conference, but the purpose is that there is always a theme and then there are sub-themes. So normally the people, those who organize, they invite the expert who has conducted researches centered around that particular theme. If it is AI and education, then they may call a person who has done some research related to use of AI in different aspects of education, like teaching, evaluation, administration, paper setting, etc., etc. And that expert will give a talk of 1 hour, 1.5 hours, sometimes even 2 hours. And if we are listening, then quite possible that we may get a new idea from his talk. And if I take that idea, then I can think of conducting a research. If I would not have attended that seminar or conference, the idea would not have come to my mind, or might have come to my mind, but the chances of not coming would have been more. Therefore, seminar and conferences becomes another source. In seminar and conferences, the papers are also presented. So when you present a paper, and after your presentation, the participants may ask question, the participants may give you suggestion as how to modify your research. And if you take their suggestion and go home and revise your paper, and you may send it for publication, then it may become the part and parcel of the review of related literature. So this can be another source. And another source is, I call it informal source. Informal sources are, say, radio, say, TV, say, newspaper, etc., etc. Now you know that every month, the last week of every month, our Honorable Prime Minister, he has started a program which is called Man Ki Baat. And if you are listening to him, quite possible a idea may stuck to him to find out as what can be the benefits which students are drawing from these talks, or people are drawing from these talks. Now, when demonetization happened, then some of you might have come to know about the demonetization in the night on the same day, or some of you might came to know on the following day through newspaper. I came to know on the following day through newspaper. And if you are a researcher and you may think of conducting a research to study the problems which people face. You might like to study the reaction towards demonetization of the educated people, uneducated people, salaried people, those who are having their business and those who are doing like that. You could have done that. So many a times your radio and television and newspaper may also help you. Now, when the GST was introduced, now you could have done lot of research related to that. Now, every now and then, lot of government, they launch the scheme, and those schemes are there, and they say that it will benefit a lot of people. Now, if you like, you can conduct the research. So therefore, your informal sources can also help you to take up a problem, but this problem may not be worth for getting a PhD degree. But those people who are from journalism, they may take newspaper as a journal, because each newspaper has volume, number, year, etc. And for them it is a journal. But for other people it may not be a journal. So therefore you may have, but you may use the informal sources to get a problem which you can research and you can write a paper on it. Yes, but I don't think it will be worth for doing a research for a PhD degree by taking informal source. So you can use anyone you like. Your maximum student will be using review of related literature. And not many people will be using underutilized or unutilized theory. But nevertheless, these are the different sources which as a researcher you can use. Now, any question you want to ask before I say bye-bye to you and see you tomorrow? So any question from any participant?
सर
हाँ, go ahead.
सर जो डेटा एनालिसिस आपने बताया था क्वालिटेटिव डेटा और नेम मेटा एनालिसिस और सोट SWOT, दिस इज द फुल फॉर्म ऑफ द SWOT.
हाँ, एस का मतलब होता है स्ट्रेंथ.
स्ट्रेंथ, यस सर. ओके.
और W का मतलब होता है वीकनेस.
वीकनेस.
चलें 5
और
मिनट
O का मतलब होता है अपॉर्चुनिटी.
अपॉर्चुनिटी, यस.
और T का मतलब होता है थ्रेट, या C का मतलब है चैलेंज.
ओके. ओके सर. ओके, थैंक यू सर.
All right, welcome. Okay, any other clarification or question any one of you like to ask? And I have given you these 4 questions today, and one more question is there, so you still have 5 questions with you to answer. And tomorrow when I come, then tomorrow I think I am having your 4 sessions from morning till evening, and I will start with the title, that how to write a title. So you will tell me the variable, and I will take that variable and tell you how to write the title. I don't think any one of your teacher has taught you how to write title. किसी ने बताया है या नहीं बताया? Okay, then thank you very much. See you tomorrow.
Thank you, sir.
थैंक यू सर. थैंक यू.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
सर कोई सूचना? सर।
क्या कोई सूचना नहीं आ रही है?
हाँ हाँ हाँ, सूचना के लिए पूछ रहे हैं, पांडे सर हैं क्या?
सर, पांडे सर।
हाँ, शायद वो क्या है कि अभी बाहर से आए हैं, थक गए होंगे तो रेस्ट कर रहे हैं।
आज का
अटेंडेंस
सेशन
लिंक
ओवर हो
नहीं
गया
आया।
है तो उसको औपचारिक रूप से इसकी समाप्ति की घोषणा की जाए, आज का दिन शेष हो।
कल कल का सेशन कब से होगा?
ये तो सूचना
अभी
व्हाट्सएप पे मिल जाएगी,
सूचना मिल जाएगी व्हाट्सएप ग्रुप पे, पांडे सर सूचना
लेकिन
दे
अभी
देंगे।
समस्या ये है कि इसकी औपचारिक घोषणा कैसे हो कि आज का सेशन खत्म हो गया है।
अरे वोट आप डॉक्टर साहब, आप वोट आप थैंक्स दे करके, और जब नहीं है तो समय हो गया तो घोषित कर दें, उसमें क्या है?
आप ही कर दीजिए जनाब।
सर नहीं तो एक मैसेज डाल सकते हैं ग्रुप में, उसके बाद समाप्ति की घोषणा कर सकते हैं कि
आप ही कर दीजिए मैम।
सर का लेक्चर हो गया है करके एक बार इंफॉर्मेशन डाल दें, उसके बाद ऑफिशियली कर सकते हैं।
सर से पूछ ले, कंप्लीट हो गया है तो वोट ऑफ थैंक प्रोफेसर साहब को दे दें, और फिर
कि सर तो एग्जिट होते हैं।
चालू करेंगे। हेलो जी, नमस्ते। कहाँ जा रहे हो? जी।
हो गया। आ, कैलाश जी।
जी सर।
सर हो गया, कंप्लीट कर दिए।
अभी सर सर है नहीं, तो शायद रेस्ट कर रहे होंगे, मुझे ऐसा लग रहा है।
क्यों, ये डिस्कनेक्ट हो गया क्या उनका?
नहीं,
सर
सर ने कंप्लीट
डिस्कनेक्ट
कर
हो
दिया
गए
सर।
सर, है ही नहीं, लेफ्ट ही हो गए
सर
एकदम
नहीं
से।
और कोई नहीं है ना वहाँ, सहयोगी नहीं है ना?
लगभग लगभग सब लेफ्ट हो गए, 57 बचे ना।
हाँ 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 हाँ, तो लगता है सर ने कंप्लीट नहीं किया, कब बोले होंगे ना कि आप कल बोलेंगे करके।
कर दिया सर, कंप्लीट कर दिया
तो
सर।
कंप्लीट कर दिया था सर।
तो कल 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 मॉर्निंग से है। कल मॉर्निंग में हम लोग 10:15 बजे मिलेंगे।
जी सर।
10:15 बजे सर।
हाँ, 10:30 से है।
जी सर।
सर अटेंडेंस लिंक नहीं आया।
आज।
सर वो तो भेजेंगे ना अब सर, पूरा होने के बाद।
हाँ हाँ। तो वो कल 1 मिनट सर से पूछना पड़ेगा कि कल 10 से लेंगे कि 10:30 से लेंगे। 1 मिनट।
सर ग्रुप में कर दीजिए ना मैसेज।
हाँ, मैं मैसेज कर दूंगा, ठीक है।
जी सर,
चलिए।
नमस्ते।
नमस्ते।
नमस्ते सर, नमस्ते, प्रणाम करते हैं।
ओके, बाय
प्रणाम।
बाय।
चलिए, आप सब लोग का बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया।
आपका भी बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया, धन्यवाद।
थैंक यू सर, थैंक यू।
Thank you, sir.
थैंक
Thank you, sir. Wonderful session.
कैलाश जी सर,
हाँ जी, हाँ जी।
घर जाइए अब।
अच्छा।
बस अब जा रहे हैं।
थैंक यू सर, थैंक यू।
कैलाश
थैंक्स
सर,
टू द एमएमटीसी
अब
एंड
आपको घर जाना है तुरंत।
यस यस सर, यस।
ओके।
थैंक यू सर।
चलिए चलिए, ओके, बाय बाय।